Hello Ruth, Shalom, and Mary Ellen, and Susan, and hello everybody. I can see some chat. I can't see the number saying that you're here yet. Oh, you can see me. Tish, great, thanks for letting me know. Hello everyone. Hi. Good that you can see me. Right, now it's Sunday. I'm on Dam Square. Hello Mark. And we're going on a little adventure. Oh, it's cold. So, you know Dam Square. Just going to do a little pan around. Great sound, great picture. Hello, Doug. Thanks for joining. It is cold. So here's the palace. We know about that. No big deal there. And here is the new church. Hi, Ronnie, Susan. And you'll see there's scaffolding all over it. Well, we're going to go up around there, up the scaffolding up to there, and then I'm going to walk around the roof of the church and come down here. So I've pretty got my my work cut out for me, and so let's do it. Are you still there? Oh, some damn ad came up and took over my screen. Okay, I hope you're still there. Say somebody, please. Okay, you are still there. Good. Okay. So the new church, called that after the Reformation, and it actually started its life as the St. Mary and St. Catherine's Church, and then there was St. Nicholas Church, and that the Nicholas Church became the old church, and this church became the new church because, as we know, Protestants don't do saints. Hello, Paula. And what we're looking at here is the old post office. Beautiful neo-Renaissance building, and we're going to be going up here, thankfully in the sun. This is the great big Gothic arch to the biggest tower in the country that never ever was. So you're going to join me for quite some hundreds of steps, okay? And I've said to the people at the gate as I walked through, where's my ticket? I was going to point the camera at the ground because nobody likes being on camera. Ugh. Hello. Oh, scanning, yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So just looking in here, this gives you a nice idea of the kind of colour that the new church and the palace should be. This is Bentheim sandstone. That is not in the depths of the tower. Let's try and get up here. Okay, so we should get some reception now. These are new views for me. Thank you, Ronnie. Yeah, beautiful blue sky, huh? But really new views for me. Seeing things from this angle, how lovely. Can I do a bit of some zooming in? You can see some details. The tram down there below. And the Port Conclave, which was where a brewery was, that was the predecessor, I believe, of the Heineken brewery. Anyway, the post office on the right, and then that building ahead over there, which I always thought was really ugly when I thought it was from the 1970s. And then when I found out it was actually from 1926, I suddenly thought it was really nice. I don't know if that's a bit fickle of me, but that extra 50 years of age just seemed to make it seem really kind of special, you know. So forward thinking for the time. Right, here goes. Luckily, I love heights. Hello, Satyam. Let's zoom in on the palace and have a look at these capitals. Very nice. Could do with a clean, but I think they struggle to. Oops. Hey, we're so close to this. This is the old stained glass window on the one end of the church that used to be a stained glass window, and then of course they filled it in with bricks when they put an organ behind. Because obviously organ pipes are not great up against stained glass windows. I think they'd probably rattle the glass out. Okay. I love these windows here in the roof. I normally never see them from this angle. It's a really strong sort of Renaissance motif. I often prefer, you know, this kind of 3/4 angle I find when looking down on cities, because if you're too high up, you just see the tops of the roofs. Yeah, the frames are nice. Okay. And look, here's parapet wall. So this church was built in 1409, but it burnt down in 1452. And then it was rebuilt, and then of course, you know, over the centuries it's had major work done. And as all old buildings have. Wow, look at that. Look at this little window in the tower. All it needs is a princess waiting to be rescued. Here's the top of the stained glass window that once was. Oh, look, first glimpse of Dam Square. Very cool. And that's where we're going to be, up there above the roof. Okay. Down on the rooftops. Huh. Wow. Oh wow, look, all over there is that Pointsteker building. How did I get permission, Karen? I just find it's always easier to get forgiveness than permission, so I just snuck in while nobody was watching and just see if we can get away with it. No, I'm only kidding. You can buy tickets to come up here now for €15. You get a time slot, and that's what I did. And here we are. Very exciting. Yeah, Amsterdam is flat. The country is pretty darn flat as well, actually. Let's zoom in and have a look here. They've been fixing a lot of the ornaments on the top of the palace. Oh, look at this one, the crown with the eagles below it. Fantastic. And actually, I think we can get a version with a bit of sunshine here. Actually, we'll be able to maybe get closer to that. Hello. So let's see. Higher and higher and higher. Yeah, eagles with a crown, absolutely. Right, and this is the best view I'm going to get from this side of town. So let's have a look and see what we got. That is Zuidas, Zuidas, the south axis. Hello. Lovely details. Yeah, look at this.
Oh ja, nou zie ik het. Blauw, rechts. Ja, nou zie ik hem weg. Terugkomen. Nou is hij weer. Ja. Okay.
So this is, as I said, that building.
Oh.
It's called the Pointsteker building. The wind's blowing the gimbal a bit. The top floor was bought as 4 penthouses that were bought by a very successful guy here, and he bought all 4 of them for 16 million. And you weren't allowed to buy them to resell. And he said no, he wanted them for himself. But then the story goes, as far as I know, that he actually did resell 3, but he gave the excuse of wanting to make sure that he liked his neighbors. Here is the Posthornkerk. That's on the Hallemstraat. That is some way down. Absolutely lovely day for it, isn't it? Zoomed out a little bit. And you know, the street that's below us, the Nieuwzijds Voorburgwal, was one of the 2 oldest canals in town until it was filled in. And that was in the late 1800s to make room for trams. Horse-drawn initially, and soon replaced with electric ones, one of which has just gone by. Gosh, wouldn't it be lovely to go up there? I don't think we can, that's closed. Up at the top of a Protestant church, you always have a rooster. Why the rooster? Well, because Protestantism was very new, when compared to Catholicism, when the split happened, and the rooster was meant to show the dawn of a new day. So the dawn of the new day for the church. Next I gotta try and get on the roof of the palace, huh? Hey, this is nice. Visual aids. So, there's a map here which shows, if you go all the way that way, from Central Station, there's the North Sea Canal, and that goes out of, goes through the sand dunes at a place called IJmuiden. Hey, look, I forgot all about, very ADD of me, sorry. The Western Church. I'll come back to the IJmuiden thing. Almost didn't see the Western Church. The one on the edge of the Jordan district, just across the way from the Anne Frank house. Okay, yeah, so the North Sea Canal goes out that way, and then here's a lovely old sort of artist's idea of what it looked like originally, going through the sand dunes here, all the way to Amsterdam, which is there. Of course, now we've got, actually here is the biggest lock in the world. It's even bigger than any of the locks in Panama. On my Instagram somewhere, deep down years ago, you'll find this photograph next to a current photograph of the current, how do you say, North Sea Canal locks, IJmuiden locks. Can we, hey, we can go around, that's good. Oh no, we can't, okay. Fine. And there's the Koppel, or the old Lutheran church. Lutheran church with a swan at the top of it. Don't ask me why. If anyone who wants to know why there's a swan on the top of Lutheran churches, you're welcome to Google it and let us know. Okay. Difficult to see. Bit difficult to see. Sun. Yeah, what a beautiful day for it, eh? We have had lovely weather this week. I've been at the tulip gardens a bunch of times. And up to the countryside as well. Okay, so where can I show you here? Here's a better view of the Lutheran church dome. And there, to the left, over that away, is that building with the V cut out of it. And the reason for the V cut out of it is that if they had solid buildings there, they would have blocked the view from the Prince's Canal. And when those were built, they were thinking of that, and also the Prince's Canal, not the Prince's, Kaiser's. The Emperor's Canal was a World Heritage Site, so you weren't allowed to see any new development. There's the Shell Tower with the square top, and now, of course, the long building there is Central Station. The long black one behind, and there's the central part of Central Station. I'm sure we'll get a better view in just a moment. This is when the Shell Tower was there just by itself. And of course now it's got a whole lot of friends. Oh. Yeah, Dove seems like it would be more suitable, wouldn't it really? I'll have to look that up, I always keep forgetting. Okay, so, let's see. There's the old church tower. And then the green copper thing is on top of the stock exchange, which you can see there, the building below it, and it's the building with the much closer to us with the flags is the Bijenkorf, the country's favorite department store. Bijenkorf meaning the beehive. Go, Bijenkorf. And look at how chaotic the roof is here, you would think. I mean, there would be that people would be looking at it. They should neaten it up. This is not Dutch house proudness at its best. So let's have a look at these lovely little roofs. Amsterdam is so pokey. You know, you think the building on the street is the building that goes all the way through, say like this one here. And then look, there's actually a gap between, and then there's another building behind it. That happens a lot because the gaps like that there are basically creating light wells between the buildings because there is no light from side windows, you see. You like? Okay, so what have we here? Yeah. Oh, this is an old painting of Dam Square with this weighing house that Napoleon's brother Louis had broken down because he felt that it spoiled the view from his palace. His palace being the old town hall. He booted out the city council. Here is the rights given to Amsterdam by Count Floris of Holland, giving them freedom from tolls on his rivers. So that's why people were encouraged to live here, and a lovely old depiction of Amsterdam there. How long will the scaffold be available to climb? Long time. It's here for most of the year, I believe. So yeah, and it wasn't too bad coming up. Just look at this. Now what? I was going to tease you all and say what period is that gable? But okay, and windy, and the new church in various different stages. You can have a look at that there. I can't go too close because then I'll get my shadow on it and you won't see anything. And Dam Square. Well, that is quite a view, isn't it? National Monument over there, and from the 1950s. It does look like Toy Town with a little toy tram. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a round window up there at the top of Madame Tussauds, which was the only really good reason for going to Madame Tussauds. But now you can stand just behind that round window and see up. But now this is way better. Hey, look, there's a detail up there. Can't quite see it because the wind's blowing the phone. Right, well, it looks like we're coming to the end up here. And Hey, look, we're really close to the sundial here. The sundial that doesn't work. And I don't mean it doesn't work because there's no sun. It was a lift, but it's not for us, apparently. It said no entry. The sundial is not consistent throughout the day, so it doesn't keep correct times. Almost never. And this may be one of those clocks that is not actually right twice a day. This is so nicely done, because look, you get views from the church from all different directions. Okay. You kind of work out which angle you like the best, how much elevation works. Right. Seeing a lot of scaffold today. Memories of Patrick and Aaron. Yeah. Try and go in the church when I'm at the bottom where we can look out from these stained glass windows. Let's not forget to try and get good views of the palace. Yeah, I've been toying with the idea of Paris, maybe in September, and I haven't been for a while. I wouldn't mind going to some galleries there. Some little details and faces up here that we'll never see again. Yeah, it was the weather that really swung it for me today. Because, you know, I've been wanting to go out on the boat, but it's a bit windy for the boat and it's cold. But yeah, it's actually lovely weather for this, perfect. Hey, and there's the southern church tower, just behind the obelisk of the National Monument. Southern Church Tower being the first church built as a Protestant church, that was in 1614. Here is a nice close-up example of how you know this church was Catholic and then made Protestant, because the Catholic churches have these little ledges, not for pigeons, they were for statues of saints. So the saint would be standing there where the pigeon is sitting, and then this would be a whole statue up here. But when they became Protestant, those were all removed. I say removed, largely destroyed, unfortunately, probably. Forcibly removed. Okay, let's have a look at the palace. So we can see we have Corinthian capitals up here. And then we have composite ones below. One floor down. Here it comes. Dum 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 dum. What's the crown in the middle? Don't normally see that. It's a very saintly pigeon. He was sitting there in a very saintly manner, must be said. Okay. Going down is much easier than going up. A saint pigeon. Yes, a saint of pies. Okay. Yep, how's that for up close? Okay. And here we are. And look, some tulips. Oh. Hello. Can I come in and look at the window? Thank you. So. Nice view of the window. Difficult to see what's what. It's a lot of window. So, just do a little pan around. The inside of a Protestant church. So I've got the kind of magnolia and beige treatment. The stained glass window is quite unusual, actually. And you see here a wooden barrel vaulted ceiling, because a stone roof would be too heavy, because we don't have flying buttresses here. The ground's too soft. Anyway. Out we go. So this is not actually a church anymore. It's used as an exhibition centre and a place that monarchs are inaugurated. We're going to crown our monarchs here, inaugurate them. Excuse me, the last one was 2013, when the square was full of people. I was here. That means it was such a historic occasion. And there we go.
Amsterdam is trendinden biri. Waar burada
Ah. Great. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. If you liked it, if you could like it, that would be good. And yeah, it's a bit early, but I think I've kind of done what I planned to do today. And with a bit of luck, next week it'll be back on the canals in the little boat. So, bye-bye, everybody. My pleasure. Thanks for joining. Like, thumbs up. Good. Cool, it's a pleasure, Trish. It was a good surprise. And yeah, I think I'm off to have a beer. Okay, bye.